Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
Today at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on my OnlyFans, I will be hosting a Q&A for the community to better get a sense of what's going on directly for me. Please attend if you are in the OnlyFans already, as it's going to be a great opportunity for all of you to get a sense of what's going on. Now, with that being said, guys, as we look on the screen, we can see what could possibly happen in the weeks to come. I posted this on Twitter yesterday. What happens historically after invasions could lead to bullish price action. We have here the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, the Afghanistan War, Iraq War. All of these different things show that once an invasion happens, the price tank. But we could very well see in the next couple days and weeks a V-shaped recovery. Now, out of all these 5 graphs on the screen right now, what I would personally compare this specific invasion to is the Afghanistan War, and the reason is because that is post.com bubble. Right now, in 2022, we're about to experience a monstrosity of a bubble, meaning we will see, in my opinion, a recovery after this initial invasion. However, we will see the prices drop off eventually into a massive crash afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, let's remember what I've been saying for a long time. I've always believed a monstrosity of a crash was going to come. Not just the crypto, but traditional markets. But right now, this specific moment, will an altcoin season happen before that monstrosity of a crash? I'm going to give you a reason why it is possible that it could be on the table. First of all, we saw Bitcoin recover nicely from yesterday's lows. We saw Bitcoin hit $34,000 yesterday, and now it's hovering close to $39,000. This is something to look at, as the rest of the altcoin market is up a lot as well. We're not out of the woods yet. There's still a lot of tensions going on in the world, but it's something to consider, and we can't take it off the table. In addition, guys, we have to understand that this Russian invasion means that the Fed could do a 180 in claiming they're going to continuously hike interest rates. That's something that may allow markets to continue to rise for the immediate short term. The stock market will continue to get bloody, but remember, we're looking at the crypto space and specifically this altcoin season. That blockchain backer scenario with the Bitcoin chart is still on the table. We have not completely broken out of that yet, and it's something to keep in your minds. If we see Bitcoin run up to the $45,000, $50,000 mark, it gives runway for these cryptos, our altcoins that haven't appreciated yet, to go. And if we see that happen, we have that opportunity. If we see that happen, we have the chance to profit before the massive crash, and that right there, my friends, would be the ideal scenario, because then we can diversify out of crypto. Then we can hold USDC, a stablecoin, on our offline ledgers. We can hold PAX Gold offline on our ledgers, and we can have money on the side to reinvest after a massive crash, whether it's into stocks, whether it's into more cryptos at better entry points. That is the ideal scenario. If they don't happen to raise interest rates, markets could recover despite the state of the world. These are the times we're in, my friends. Everything is uncertain, but this is the bullish case, and why I still have my money in the crypto market. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm one of the few people that I've seen currently that are still bullish on altcoin season. In 2022, I know altcoin season will happen. But the question is, will we see it right now in the immediate short term, or will we see it after a crash? The chance that we see it right now is on the table. And that's why I'm still in my positions and I'm willing to hold through any volatility. In case I'm wrong, I'm loading up on cash. In case I'm wrong, I will have a fiat entry point. And that is how you have to navigate things as an investor. You have to know that even if you're incorrect with your immediate projections, you're still not going to lose money. Nobody here is going to lose money unless you act on emotion. I don't deal with emotional investors. I deal with the savages of the XRP army. And that's why we're all going to make it. Especially with XRP. Because we've always been on the money as far as this specific plan is concerned. Guys, here we have a beautiful thread from Sahil Bloom discussing the SWIFT system. And I'm going to briefly read all of this for all of you so you can understand why it's so important. Ladies and gentlemen, with the rapid deterioration of the Russia-Ukraine situation, you're going to hear a lot about SWIFT, and here's a breakdown of what it is. For those of you that don't know and are just joining the XRP community, you need this rundown. SWIFT is short for Society of Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications and is a global cooperative of financial institutions based in Belgium. It was formed in 1973 when 239 banks from 15 countries came together to establish a way to handle cross-border payments. If you're part of the XRP community, you know XRP is trying to tackle that niche. Today, SWIFT connects more than 11,000 financial institutions across 200 plus countries. Think of it like a simple email system enabling secure messages across its members. An average of 40 million messages a day, including orders, payment confirmations, FX exchanges, and trades, occur. SWIFT doesn't actually do any transfer or holding of funds, but it's a critical part of the communication infrastructure that enables cross-border money flows. It's a key part of the global financial system's plumbing. So why is it in the spotlight now? While not a political organization, its importance to global flows means SWIFT is often looked at as a geopolitical tool as part of sanctioned packages. Cutting off a nation's banks from SWIFT access restricts flows in and out of that nation, resulting in real economic pain. This happened in 2012 with the sanctions package on Iran and retaliation for its nuclear program. It was looked at in 2013-14 in response to Russia's actions in Crimea. Cutting off SWIFT's access is viewed as very significant, so the consideration alone is material. With Russia's most recent actions in Ukraine, cutting off SWIFT access is very much on the table as part of a sweeping sanctions package. The challenge is that it is a real double-edged sword. Russia's a massive economy with tentacles that reach all around the world. It is a key energy supplier to Europe and the world. It is an exporter of materials critical to the manufacturing of jet engines, semiconductors, etc. Cutting off SWIFT, cutting Russia off from SWIFT, would impact the flow of payments for these industries, and that would have a crippling financial effect for the world. Russia has also been building an in-house system since 2014, and this right here is where it gets juicy. Meaning that they are able to temper some of the impact a cutoff would have on its economy. Though it appears most experts still expect the impact would be significant, that's something to think about. A cutoff from SWIFT may also have longer-term second-order effects on Bitcoin and non-fiat currencies. The base logic. Russia may seek to circumvent the impact of restrictions via a combination of its in-house system and a push away from the USD reserve currency. And ladies and gentlemen, this is so important, as Russia has been making this move for a long time. Getting out of USD, getting into gold, getting into the crypto space. And remember, that move where Russia considers crypto as currency right before this invasion began. This is significant and something we cannot forget. Whatever happens in the coming days, there will be a lot of talk about SWIFT and its role in the response to Russia's actions. And guys, for those of you that weren't aware now of how significant this is, now you know. But guys, what's more important than any of that is that Russia has been working in the background with Ripple and XRP. That is significant. And here we have this powerful King Solomon video going deeper into the connections Russia has with XRP. This is important, as I'm about to play you a brief clip showing you just how powerful Russia is, and XRP's exact use case being described in the news as far as a new financial system is concerned and circumventing the current SWIFT system. Please take a listen.
Two is what's being discussed now, which is the payment processing system. So really what they're competing with is the SWIFT bank system, right? So right now, if you're sending money overseas from a US bank, you have to use, or any Western country, you use that SWIFT system that is set up in Belgium. And that prevents money laundering in theory and all that kind of thing. But what the BRICS nations are doing is saying, well, we don't need to use the SWIFT system because we don't want to be subjected again to US sanctions, because if the US is sanctioning you, you can't move money using that SWIFT system. So what's really interesting is, number one, they're creating a payment system that would go around SWIFT. But how do you do that when you have 5 major countries that all have their own currencies? And one of the ways they're doing that is by using possibly cryptocurrency to do that. That would translate their currencies into a single cryptocurrency that is then used through the system and then formulated, I guess, when it gets into their country, back into their own personal currency. So essentially you're taking currency from one, sending it through as a cryptocurrency, and then back on the other end into transforming it into another currency. And that allows them, again, to get around this SWIFT system in a way that no one had really thought about in the past, because crypto already has all of those things in place.
Now, Russia in particular, they've been moving away from the US dollar. In fact, in the last 5 years, Russia actually cut out almost half of its trade payments in US currency, from 92% to about 50%. So what does this say about its relationship, if any, with the West?
Well, I think it says that, that Russia specifically really started pushing this after 2014, right? Because in 2014, the U.S. started hitting Moscow with sanctions, and they wanted to punish. And remember how this works. Sanctions are issued against individual countries. They're also issued against leaders in those countries or wealthy people in those countries. And so when leaders in those countries and wealthy people in those countries start getting hit with sanctions, you have a choice. You can either go along with this and comply, or you can say, let's create a system that no longer gives you leverage over us. Well, one thing that the U.S. is doing a very poor job of right now is recognizing that it's not just Russia or just China, but there are 5 major nations and dozens of smaller nations that are very excited about the idea of no longer being under U.S. dominance when it comes to currency, and we're not doing anything about it. At this point, the U.S. is resisting on almost every level any push to change the way the system is currently.
Oh guys, that is so powerful. They're changing the system. The BRICS nations have already been building a new payment system. And remember, like I know a lot of my fans do, BRICS was specializing specifically with small and medium-sized enterprises. Just like Ripple changed their strategy to small and medium-sized enterprises. I don't think this is a coincidence. I think it lines up too perfectly. And right here, Joe Biden is letting all of you know that this geopolitical catalyst has begun. Please follow me on Instagram down in the description below to continue to get up-to-the-minute updates on everything going on, because you don't want to miss these types of feeds.
We will limit Russia's ability to do business in dollars, euros, pounds, and yen. We're going to stunt the ability to finance and grow the Russian military. And we're going to impair their ability to compete in high-tech 21st century economy. We've now sanctioned Russian banks that together hold around $1 trillion in assets. We've cut off Russia's largest bank, a bank that holds more than 1/3 of Russia's banking assets by itself. Cut it off from the U.S. financial system. And today, we're also blocking 4 more major banks. That means every asset they have in America will be frozen. This includes VTB, the second largest bank in Russia. As promised, we're also adding the names to the list of Russian elites that we're sanctioning as well. Between our actions and those of our allies and partners, we estimate that we'll cut off more than half of Russia's high-tech imports.
And guys, this is where the hoopla begins, because what's on the screen is confirmed. European utilities are set to buy tomorrow more Russian natural gas via Ukraine pipelines. Yes, you read that correctly. Europe will be buying more natural gas from Russia via Ukraine, and they'll continue to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, Russia is too big of a powerhouse in the global economic playing field to be messed with. These sanctions, they're going to be limited. Russia is going to be able to withstand these sanctions. And what's going to happen is that the US is going to continue to intervene. They're going to continue to keep rates relatively low, have more government spending on the guise of this crisis. They cannot raise interest rates now. Oh no, my friends. No, they cannot. Today we see the crypto market recover already, just a little while after these invasions. And I don't think that's a coincidence either. While the world looks bleak, we have to understand one thing. We've seen the world look bleak for 2+ years now, and asset prices have exploded. There will be a monstrosity of a crash, but the question is, will we see our altcoin season first? I'm personally betting on it, and I'm ready even if I'm wrong. Russia's over here with their currency collapsing, but at the same time, more geopolitical tensions are rising. Taiwan has warned of Chinese fighter jets in the area, and in my personal opinion, I believe Taiwan is next on the list. China and Russia have been working hand in hand behind the scenes to strategize for the fall of the American empire for a long time, and we are witnessing them moving in within the same day with tactical precision, acquiring resources, evading sanctions, getting ready for this financial reset, gaining land, while the US, all we have is the ability to inflate the dollar. That's gonna end soon. XRP is on standby.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.